cutting up a large turkey today. That's his backbone there. That's some of the breast meat. I got another bag of that already in the fridge for the dogs. I've got a thigh here to remove. This thing's huge. Oh, trying to flip it over one-handed so you can see it. I don't think I can. No, I really can't. Already got quite a bit cut off. So you can see a drumstick here. Chocolatey goodness, yum. Tom told me that when Tom saw them, he called them chocolate haystacks, and that's when I remembered that that's one of the names for these, chocolate and coconut, is chocolate haystacks, because they look a little bit like a stack of hay. Well, urban people don't know much about that. I call them macaroons, but now a macaroon is some kind of strange cookie from Japan that I've never had. And my latte, cold brew latte. I'm going to enjoy this coffee break very much. Well, I'm getting tired. So far I've taken the boiled bones and I had to freeze them because I ran out of canning jars. All I have is the little tiny ones, and I had intended them for concentrated broth, which I didn't make this time around because I have enough concentrated broth and I have enough canned turkey, and I thought canned soup would be a lot more useful and probably really interesting to make because I've never done it, and it's a good soup. Well, I didn't have nearly enough jars for it all, so one big pot of it we're going to have to eat. And I think the four of us, the two dogs and the two humans, will get through that pot of soup before it goes off. It's pretty delicious. And 2 or 3 rounds of canning. It's got a can for 90 minutes a round, and I can only fit so many jars in there, so because of the shapes and sizes of the jars, I'm going to have to do it 2, possibly 3 times. So I stuck the rest in the fridge because 2 hours is too long to leave it on the counter, and it'll just have to heat back up when it gets in the canner. Nothing to be done about it. I don't think it matters that much. I packed them in hot and I put the lids on, so they should be fairly safe, and I just have to loosen the lids a little bit before they go in the water, just a smidgen so that steam can escape. But I'm getting so tired. My feet are hurting, my back is aching, and I've got all these pots and pans and stuff still to wash, and I'm just feeling like, oh my Lord. I don't want to do anymore. Maybe I should put off canning the rest until tomorrow because I got all this cleaning to do yet. So I put all the dog bones, well, some of them I kept for them to have for food right away, and the rest went in the freezer, and I just noticed the time. I'm late for my coffee break. I like coffee. I always have some chocolate with it. Yum. Now how pretty is that? Isn't that just gorgeous? These haven't been canned yet. They've been put in the sterilized jars and the lids put on, and now they're waiting for the canner time to come around. Oh, they're beautiful. Look at my cool old 1910 tripod. Turns out it also makes a good selfie stick for the big camera. Now I know what you're thinking. How can that flimsy little thing hold that heavy camera? Fact is, the cameras back in 1910 weighed a good deal more and were a lot larger than that. A lot larger. So that's what my new camera looks like. It's currently filming Timmy. I'm doing a video test to find out how long in default settings this video will record. It's been almost 20 minutes. I'm predicting 30. But maybe it actually just keeps going until I tell it otherwise, and I could get a whole hour out of one. I don't know. Will the battery last? That's why I'm turning off the screen. I love this screen. Look at this. Look at this feature. Okay. You've got... And it turns itself around when you do that. So now you've got your live view like this, or your settings view, and you can still use viewfinder for photography just like the old days, or you can have it like that for selfie mode. How sweet is that? This is my lunch. Fried turkey, turkey bacon with chicken eggs, and a bit of Gouda cheese. And this smoothie with a lot of watermelon in it. Yum!
You want a peanut?
One for you. My little $30 dash cam won't get past the splash screen. It just started to fail yesterday in the back of my car, and now it won't do anything. It just, the splash screen displays. I've hit the reset, I've reformatted the card, I've done everything I could think of. You can't get the buttons to respond or anything. It's Saturday. I'm expecting Tom over, and I want to do a kitchen chat, and I've been fooling with my new camera, and I'm running behind on everything as a result. I ought to be doing the dishes, but there's not many dishes because I did a bunch last night. But I've been having a real kick out of finding out how my lenses perform on the new body. Oh, it's so nice of Pentax to allow us to keep our old lenses.
So I thought I might not do
Close
that.
it. Mm-hmm.
So in the dead
It
of
has such
winter,
nice pockets.
I got secret
Jealous.
pockets here, and this pocket has a pocket inside the pocket, which I keep accidentally sticking.
Another one. Fireworks burst. Ah, there's the heart shape. Kitchen chat, but we've already got started. Hi. Bye, Tom.
Bye, Yolanda.
It was sure fun having you over, Tom.
It was fun being here.
See you next week.
Okay.
That's about half of it. Let's give the rest to Piper. Good morning. It's a Sunday morning. I am using my new Pentax for this video. I cannot believe how obvious the difference is. I knew there was a difference, but I didn't expect me to notice it. But wow, the footage taken with this thing sure does look good, doesn't it? We got a lens here It's, you know, really wonkin' big. That's the lens on here. And I'll just turn that on. That's the lens on here. So, you know, makes a difference. I'm a monster. We're coming for you. Freaky footage brought to you courtesy of my Lens Baby Lens. Cool, huh? So, I am going to make canned soup. I'm going to take a whole lot of raw stuff, vegetables, herbs, meat. I've got basil. I'm going to grab parsley out of the bunny food collection. And I got freshly cooked bone broth, and I'm going to stick it in canning jars, and I'm going to let the canning process do the cooking. I've got sliced turkey as well I'm going to add to it. Let me zoom out. Oh, that's better. This is going to be so good. I'm excited about it. A lot of people don't understand how much weight a stove has to handle. That's a soup pot. That's going to get canned. And that's the canner that's going to do it. It's currently sterilizing jars. And this is some of the soup that's in there that I'm going to just cook completely. So there's the pot I'm cooking up for us to eat. And I just realized that this gives me a great opportunity to adjust the seasoning in the big pot. See, when you cook a pot of food, so I put the broth in, it was already boiling hot. But then I dumped in a bunch of refrigerator cold cut veggies and meat, all raw. Those bulk items have to heat up enough to stop taking the heat away from the liquid before the liquid reaches boiling point. It will not reach a temperature to boil as long as it's giving its heat to the contents of the food in there. One of my tripods works as a selfie stick for the new camera. I'm going to get some beefy arms holding this puppy up. Here it is in selfie stick mode. And then you just angle the head to point and just hold it out. That's a wonderful old thing. These pull out and they get 3 layers, so it stands quite tall when it's out. And then of course this is just a bundle that comes apart. It's hinged at the top here. I don't know if you can see it from here, but it says right on the top, it's etched on there in lettering, 1910. Now I don't know if that's the patent or the actual age, but it's pretty darned old. Okay, it's tasting time. How do you like that? Oh, so hot. I only put a little bit in because it's not really a meal time for me. First we'll check the hardest vegetable, the carrot, and make sure it's cooked through. Perfection. Now I did make sure to select a fairly large piece of the turkey to allow me to check that it's still cooked in the middle. And I thought I'd pick that up with this. And that's about as big as the piece has got. So if this one's cooked through, oh, perfect. So far, and that's 3/4 of it. So I ran out of the canning jars. This is all I had left, and a couple that are in the canner. I've got some small ones. The canner is running a second time around. This time I've actually got a second layer of tiny jars at the top, so stuffed 2 runs just to make soup. And then the rest of the soup, as you can see, we can't eat all that in 1 week, just the 2 of us, and even with our dogs. And one of them has turned his nose up at it. Too many herbs. So I'm going to jam a bunch of it into the freezer, which is how I used to do them before I learned to can.
9 o'clock, it's time to get the birdie up. Good morning, fam. How's our laughing boy? Gently chuckling behind your cover. morning, Sam. Hi. How's it going? Oops. Sorry, kids. Sorry. Ginger water. All right. Be back with your breakfast when it's ready, my dear. This butter knife is as old as me. And I had it all my life, except it was my parents until it was mine. And my daddy did this riveting and screwing him to repair it. Okay, so how nifty was that with the wide angle getting the whole kitchen in and the whole living room? Wasn't that cool? That's my morning routine. Now I'm having my breakfast. Today's Monday and I'm going to watch the You're So Brave podcast while I eat breakfast. This is how I set up my recording studio. The mixer board, the K-oscillator, and the Bliptronic all fit into one bag along with all the cables. The Q-cord has its own case, and I keep the recorder on my desk. So here I am, just getting my system set up and putting some rhythms in on the Bliptronic. You can see it from another angle too. I use 2 cameras for this one. Just setting up, plugging in, and testing. The headphones are the same ones that I use for the TV, and I just put them on the mixing board and have a good listen. And now I'm playing. And you can hear the music I'm playing as I've put it on this track. I'm mixing between the Q chord, which is doing the chord and the piano, and the K-oscillator is doing the weird sound effect noises, and then the Bliptronic is just laying down, I don't know, a backbeat. It's just laying down an underlying rhythm. So between these 3 instruments is how I made the music that you're hearing in this track. And it was quite challenging to try and keep them all going so that they didn't sound like I was stopping one and starting the next, playing against myself. And now I'm editing the footage together from what I played, which, by the way, is available to you on my YouTube channel. It's called Trance 1. It comes with a hypercube video where I just sat for 5 minutes and videotaped the hypercube that you can see in the background of this shot here over my shoulder on the counter. It's just a square thing with dots. And I watched that video as I composed. And you hear the results. I can give it a Doesn't it look so nice and clean? I should have taken a picture to show you how bad it was before I started. But basically there was brown and black burnt on every single burner and in the middle and around the edges. It was insane. There was splatter and splash. Several days of cooking a broth and you can't clean it while it's hot. Left it looking like hell. This stove is like 10 years old by now. When I'm not using it to cook soup, I don't really need these two burners, so I cover them with board and get a little extra counter space.